is a Wandering Author here, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about 3 common pitfalls that people encounter whenever they're trying to buy a home. So, those would be insufficient income history or credit history, and difficulties coming up with the down payment. Currently, we are riding over top of Arkansas River on the Arkansas River Trail. So, what do you do if you want to buy a house but you have no credit history? Well, if you have any kind of student loans or anything like that, that will count as credit history. But in general, the easiest thing is going to be to use a government-backed loan, either the USDA or the FHA loan. To qualify with an FHA loan, the minimum credit score is 580. If you're trying to buy a house with only 3.5% down. However, you can buy a house with 10% down if you have a credit score of 500 or above. What happens if you have derogatory credit marks, like if you have delinquent student loans, or if you have an account that's been in collections? So, as long as you have the cash reserves to buy a house, the bank's going to go ahead and want to lend you the money. What's going to happen is they will pop you during the home loan underwriting process, and you'll have to submit something called a consumer letter of explanation. All this is a little piece of paper that says you agree to pay off the debt or to resume payments on the debt, depending on the size of the debt. So, beyond that, if you don't have a ton of taxable income history, which can be an issue if you're a 1099 worker or if you've been a student for a long time, as long as you have a W-2 job offer, the bank will approve you for whatever loan amount you qualify using that job offer. If you only have 1 year of credit history or taxable income history, then you'll have to submit something called an IRS letter of nonfiling. To get one of those, you just got to go to the IRS website and then fill out a few forms on there, and you'll basically get a letter that says the IRS is aware that you have not filed taxes for that year, and all you'll have to do is submit that along with your job offer and income verification to the bank, and you shouldn't have an issue getting approved for some sort of financing. Now, other than those 2 things, another common issue is the down payment requirements. You may have heard that you need to put down 20% or so to buy a house, and although that used to be true, and it still is a requirement if you don't want to pay for private mortgage insurance, you can absolutely buy a home with much less than that. The 2 most popular ways are going to be to use the FHA or the USDA loans, which I've already spoken about. But you can also do something called seller financing, where essentially you don't pay for the whole place up front. The buyer lets you, the owner lets you buy it, and then you pay them instead of paying the bank. But with a government-backed loan, the USDA is 0% down. Now, you will need to pay for the closing costs, which typically average around 3 to 4% of the property price. When I bought the place last year in Metropolis, Illinois, it was a $79,000 home, and all in all, it cost about $3,200 in order to close on it. The pre-approval letter that I got for the FHA, it said it would have cost a little bit more than that, around $3,800. But with all that being said, whether you have accounts and collections, derogatory marks on your credit score, or if you haven't paid taxes for more than 1 year, that does not mean that you cannot buy a home. It just means that you're going to have to go through a few extra steps in order to make it happen. But keep in mind, the chances of you finding a place that you can rent for only $600 a month that's actually worth living are very very slim. And the chances are, if you're signing the lease yourself, you've got to come up with $2,000 or $3,000 for the security deposit versus last month's rent, which in my experience is enough to go ahead and close on a home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. But again, this is a Wandering Author here, coming at you from Murray Park, Arkansas, reminding you guys to be the author of your own life. Go ahead, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. I'll post a link to my blog going into detail on some of these concepts in the description as well.